It's been 4 years since I did this channel and look how far I've come. But what should I do for my next video? Let me look at my scripts. Oh yeah, I haven't done a top 10 for a long time. When was my last one? Well,
how about you?
hello my lunatics, I'm Moonspirit. Today, I'm not talking about video games, but anime. Though I technically did do an anime review of Mega Man's OVA, but still. As a 90s kid, cartoons were the only thing on my mind, other than video games. It was until my cousin introduced me to anime in the mid-90s that I was immediately hooked, thanks to Dragon Ball Z and Sailor Moon. Though at the time, the concept of anime didn't hit me because I thought it was just like any other cartoon back in the day. Bear in mind I was an elementary school student and I was so naive. But just like many cartoons back then, I would remember great episodes, but the opening themes always left a mark in my subconscious if it's awesome. And boy, there was some amazing openings. That's why I'm counting down my top 5 anime OPs from 1990 to 94. But why top 5 in only 1990 to 94? First off, I don't know that much anime back then to warrant a top 10. Second, I'm saying within a 5-year span because the late 90s are chock full of great anime and that deserves its own list. Though some of the anime listed here have debuted in Japan in '89, I'm still counting them because they wouldn't be released in the West until 1990 or so. That means English and Japanese are eligible. That way the list is more streamlined. And finally, this is my top 5 list. Mine! And if you don't agree with my list, that's fine because my opinions obviously doesn't match yours. So leave your comments after the video is over. So, without further ado, here's my top 5 anime OPs of the early 90s. Now here's a classic. Granted, I still haven't finished the series. Regardless, the anime is so damn peppy, even though the opening shows our heroes battling demons. But can you blame me? The title literally translates to Smile Bomb, and I can't help but feel happy when I hear this song. The opening starts with a whoosh as you're flying in the air with bow tie. And then the beat kicks in. Then our heroes run in as the first verse builds up as they rescue Botan and Keiko until it goes down to a 4-beat hit and a pause. Nice pause there. The next verse hits and it heightens up from there and I love it. I must admit, even after all these years, the song still rocks and the English cover done by Sarah White gets the job done too. Do I prefer the original or the dub? Honestly, nothing beats the original, but the dub isn't so bad. All in all, this OP makes me smile, which makes it the bomb. Chances are, you never heard of this anime. I only know of it because my cousin brought a DVD of this a few times. He even downloaded this OP on my computer. And I gotta admit, it's pretty kick-ass. The song starts with what sounds something mystical in the air and it is coming. As it reaches its peak, hit the horns! For the longest time, I thought this song was entitled Mysterious Tokyo because of those opening lines. But I was wrong. Once that funky little tune hits, the verse intensifies as it continues, especially when the synth comes in. But when the chorus kicks into high gear, a duet comes a knocking, and horns just makes the song even more exciting. This OP is so cool! I can't believe I haven't watched this anime despite knowing the OP for so long. Owning a copy isn't expensive, and I think this should be considered a watch, myself included. But seriously, give this OP a listen and you might even like it. Now we're talking old school. Like I said in my criteria, this anime counts even though it debuted in Japan in '89 since it came in the West in the 90s. But for those who don't know, Guyver was a real banger and was one of the goriest anime of the 90s that I've watched. Yet it didn't traumatize me as a child, surprisingly. Yeah, I watched this, Devilman, Violence, Jack, and X, and those never gave me nightmares. Maybe because it was animated, I knew it wasn't real, but wait, I'm going off tangent! Right, sorry. It opens with an ominous synth as if something evil and unworldly is coming and all hope feels lost. But when that ends, the song truly begins. Come on, can you feel the hype? Especially when you hear the horns? How funny, this is the second OP I've listened that has horn hype. When the singer comes in, his voice feels low yet not too low to be considered rough, like a dark knight, and I think it fits with the Guyver to a T. You see, Guyver looks like a monster, yet it's a guardian that protects those who need help, and will do so by any means necessary, whether it's chopping body parts off, crushing their skulls with its bare hands, or blasting its devastating energy weapons. And the way the singer says his name feels just right. Just right. Only true hardcore 90s anime fans know Guyver. Some of them even remember the live-action Guyver movie once upon a time. Though Guyver Dark Hero was better. At least that's what I remember. I'm even glad it came back in the mid-2000s, but as for the OP, I'll get to that for another list. For now, the number 3 goes to the bio-boosted armored Guyver, and I mean Guyver! Now we're on to more familiar territory. I could have put this at number 1, but that would be nepotism on my part and I must be better than that. But I won't deny it. This anime and the OPs are iconic. Yes, I mean both English and Japanese. In fact, I love this anime so much, it's how I got my moniker. So, in the name of the moon, this is my number 2 fave. Doesn't matter what language it is sung in because everybody knows this OP whenever they hear those all too familiar notes. The original Japanese feels serene and subtle yet grand, but the English has more attitude in it, especially with that guitar solo. Hey, it was the 90s, gotta have that dude! But both songs each have their quirks that make them so memorable. The soothing Japanese vocals, the twinkling soundbite in the American, the jingling notes in the Japanese, or hearing all the Sailor Scouts being called by name. Sailor Moon didn't just make fans, it sparked a phenomenon. I know Sailor Moon, you know Sailor Moon, your grandma probably knows of it. Even Olympic figure skater Evgenia Medvedeva, sorry, I don't speak Russian, skated to this in an exhibition in Japan. A Russian Olympic figure skater skated to this!
If that doesn't transcend anime, I don't know what does. With all that said, I can safely say that Sailor Moon illuminated its way into pop culture and isn't going anywhere. Also, Sailor Mars is my Sailor waifu, FYI.
Now before we get to number 1, here are my honorable mentions.
Want some pepperoni?
Samurai pizza cats.
Speaking of sparking a phenomenon, here's the other contender that really put anime on the map. And yes, it did debut in Japan around '89, but it wouldn't be until the 90s until this very anime would gain traction in popularity. Sailor Moon is the iconic anime for the female demographic, but this one is the most famous one of all, and its OP kicks ass. So, let's rock the dragon! 1, 2, 3, 4!
What else can be said? This theme song kicks so much ass. It's 90s anime hype in anime form. I won't deny the original OP, Cha-La Head Cha-La, is great, with the synth and echoing vocals and all. But Rock the Dragon is the very definition of 90s awesomeness. What ultimately works so well with this opening theme is that it's simple. The guitars aren't very complicated, and the lyrics are earworm tier easy. And the pace practically fits with what to expect in DBZ. Fast action, hard-hitting punches and kicks, powerful energy, physically and literally, and it just doesn't let up. This song gets its message across within 60 seconds. While Funimation did replace the Ocean Studios version with a newer one done by Bruce Falconer, it did its job too. I mean, it's got a rocking instrumental theme, but it doesn't really get into your head as much as the Ocean Studios theme. Every 90s kid knows this song, the characters, the fights, the memes, because of course,
Over 9,000!
this OP was just a smidgen of how it helped solidify Dragon Ball Z's place in the international pop culture landscape. This OP rocks, so did its anime, and that's why it's my number 1 anime OP of the early 90s.
So those are my top 5 anime OPs of the early 90s. Chances are your favorites never made the list. So to alleviate this, comment down below with the hashtag #YouForgotThis and tell me which OP I missed out on. And maybe in the future, I'll do a viewer suggestion edition of a top 5 or 10, depending on your recommendations. Will there be a deadline? Well, check back in the description down below to find out. But if you want more countdowns of anime OPs, be sure to subscribe and don't forget to ring that bell. Until then, I'm Moon Spirit saying good night. Enjoy some more dancing, y'all.
You've got a secret bonus point.